This Vinny Vid production brought to you by Yankee Dabbler. For all your model railroad needs, check out Yankee Dabbler. Don't forget, 7% discount with BNSF 6951. And by Highways and Byways, awesome street graphics for your roads and streets on your model railroad layout. If you guys are looking for sophisticated model railroad electronics, Logic Rail Technologies has what you need. For a 5% discount on certain items, use code BNSF6951. Alright guys, now it's time for the next step on your layout. Trees! I have been dealing with Bob for 7 years now, and he does excellent work on his trees. So if you need some trees on your layout, check out Long Shadow's Trees. Tell him the Cuz sent you. Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Hi, my name is Vinny, and I will be your host. BNSF 6951 shares videos on layout updates, op sessions, run sessions, rail fanning, contests, and giveaways. Vinny Build Structures shares videos on scratch builds, kit bashing, also tools, tips, and tricks, and he also does a clinic on how to do scratch builds. Finally, on Friday nights, I do a live stream called Hanging with the Cuz. That's right, if you want to hang out with a bunch of great model railroaders, come and check me out on 8 o'clock on Friday night. That's 8 o'clock Eastern on Friday nights. Anyhow, so if you guys and gals think that you might like these kind of videos, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell so you get notified whenever I upload a video or do a live stream. And then give me a couple of those because that'll help out my YouTube analytics. Anyhow, with all that being said, let's get on with the video. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Alright guys, what you're looking at now is I am going to be fitting the last few pieces of the sub road bed, and I'm working on this section right here right now, and I want to make sure that I stay at least an inch and a half from the wall because I want my mountains to have a nice little slope back here. Anyhow, I already got this piece cut out, and what I'm going to do is I'm trying to eliminate the S-curve that was here. So I put this straight in like this, and that will basically take care of it. So I need to drill it here, and I need to splice it here. So with all that being said, we will be back in a few minutes. Alright guys, you're looking at the final connection way down there for the main run. Right there, with that straight piece, there's going to be a right-hand turnout that's going to go over and take care of the Williams section of the layout. But anyhow, all of this is fitted in here. The end down here is not screwed in yet, and neither is the side over there screwed in yet. The reason for that is because I need to take all the back boards off and replace them with the taller ones. Anyhow, with all that being said, let's see what kind of mess I can get into next. We'll be back in a minute. Bye for now. Alright guys, today Dave and I are going to be replacing the backdrop here. We're going 4 inches taller than the previous backdrop. And he's taking out the last piece right now. And as you can see, all of this is all out. Alright, he's got the last piece out. Time for us to bring some of the new stuff in. Be right back. This camera that I'm using right now took a spill the other day, and something happened to it, and I don't know what happened to it, but all of a sudden I have to press a new button to get it to record. Anyhow, Dave and I, as you can see, went ahead and replaced all the backdrop all the way up, and we are now 4 inches tall, so that gives me 12 inches total height of my backdrop. and my mountains are probably going to go as tall as that. Anyhow, with all that being said, we also did complete some of the elevations and stuff, so I'll kind of explain some of that as we go along here. Alright guys, we're going to start coming in from training room number 1, and we're going to be on the furthest track towards that wall, and we're going to come back here, and that is a 2% grade right there. We're going to come around this here, which is going to be a 15-inch radius, and we're going to come across here, and we drop down to a 1% grade on that track right there, and it will continue up in here, and it will be on the inside track here, which is a really tight radius. It's going to be like 13.5. And then it'll continue on down, and now we're still at 1% right there. And we'll come across here with 1% here. This is where I think I'm going to be putting that kit up in this area someplace, either on that side or on this side. Anyhow, we're going to come around here, and we're going to start going up right now. And we're going to come around, and this will be a 2% grade up here. And coming down to a 1% grade. And now we'll be on the outside track, coming in here. And then we will level off and meet up with the track going back into room number 1. Alright guys, and the final piece of this puzzle is going to be right there. It's going to be a right-hand turnout. And it's going to lead into here, which is going to be the, I guess, the town of Williams. And there'll be a station and a hotel up here, and a couple of tracks for storage. Anyhow, I just wanted to throw that in to complete the bench work that we're going to be doing. Anyhow, let's see what else we can do. I'm also going to start doing some curved track back here. And I'm going to show you how I do my curved track. So with all that being said, stay tuned. Let's see what else we can get into. Alright guys, as I promised you earlier on in one of these videos, that I was going to show you how I do flex track on curves. And I had learned this method from Fish Plate Films. If you guys haven't checked him out, you should go check him out. I'll see if I can put his link in the description. Anyhow, we're going to start with 2 pieces of this. I'm using code 55 microengineering track, and both rails slide, so it doesn't matter which way you do this. But first thing we're going to do is we are going to cut some of the ties out, and I just use my hobby knife for that. Just turn the whole thing upside down, and let's see, where are we? I guess you can cut out right here. Alright, and then I should be able to slide that right off, just like that. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and cut more ties off of this one. The ties we can always put back later on, but right now I want this area to be as clean as I possibly can get it. So we'll cut this back just a little bit further, about 3 more ties. Okay, now we'll cut the same amount of ties off of this one, and that would be about here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So right here, and that should slide off just like that. Now, the trick to not having kinks when you start to curve this is to alternate, is to what's the word I'm looking for? Do the same cut on this rail as you did on this rail. So in other words, what I'm saying is we take this and put it right up to there, and we'll take our rail nippers, and we will just go ahead and cut that right there. And so now we have a staggered joint. That's the word I was looking for, staggered. We can stagger it even more if you want, but I think this is going to be sufficient. No, let's do a little bit more. We'll cut another 1/8 inch off of there, and then we have to do the same on this side. Now, do they match up? And this one is a little bit longer, so we will go ahead and we'll cut this rail just a smidge. Alright, let's see. That looks good right there. Now, I need to file these down, so when you do this job, you need to have some files. You're going to need some solder. You're going to need some flux. And of course, you're going to need rail joiners. And I think I need to back this camera out just a little bit. And of course, you're going to need a soldering iron. So, I'm just going to take a flat file in here. And I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to file down, because it doesn't matter if I get Atlas rail joiners or Micro Engineering rail joiners, they are very, very tight. So I try and make the rail just a bit smaller so I can get those on with no problem. Now Dave, BNSF, N-Scale, he made a tool that I also seen Greg on Fish Plate Films do. Is he took a piece of rail and he filed it down until he had like a point on it, and that's what we're going to do right now. He's just going to give this a little bit of a point on both these rails. It's not much, just enough to get it to slide into the rail joiners, because like I said, these rail joiners are tight. And by the way, this is Micro Engineering pre-weathered Code 55 track. Now, I may continue to do this while I'm recording it, but if I start to have problems, guess what? We're going to stop the recording. This piece didn't get cut off over here. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these that at least will get 2 rails, and possibly a couple that will get 3 of these soldered together. So that it will be determined when I get out to the layout and start doing this stuff. Right now I'm just doing the first one. I'm going to try and do this in some sort of a system to start laying track, because all my sub road bed is completed, and that looks real good right there. Now you guys are probably wondering about gauge, and we'll figure the gauge out a little bit later after we put this together and make sure the gauge is good. I do have an NMRA gauge, but as you can see, the joint is staggered right there, so when you start to bend it, it's not bending in the same place. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not bending on the joint. It's just the track itself is bending. So now that I've got that part done, let's see if I can get a couple of rail joints on here with no problems. I may have to file some more. Just need to. My fingers are not as nimble as they used to be, so it's hard for me to pick these guys up. And I may have to slide it off the edge of the table. Alright, got one. Alright, so let's see if we can get this guy on with no problem. First of all, alright, that's a start. You need to get your joiner on about halfway. Alright, so we got one on there. Now if I can pick this one up, we'd be in good shape. Alright. Oh, and by the way, be careful when you're drilling stuff, guys. You can see my thumb right there. I drilled through my thumbnail. Dave was here when it happened. It was very, very painful, to say the least. Alright, that one went on pretty good, actually. Alright, now the trick is to get this side on. And let's see if it's going to go on as easily. Alright, it went on. Now, guys, hang on. I'm going to go get my NMRA gauge before I solder this and see where we are at this. So stay tuned and I'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, as you can see I have my gauge right here. And we're going to go ahead and put it between the track and see what we have. And we have perfect there. And let's see over here. Perfect there. And perfect there. Alright, so I'm good enough to go ahead and solder this, and my head may get in the way while I'm doing this, I'm not quite sure. But we're going to use some flux, so we're going to put it on the joiner. Now your solder joints on this particular job are very important. You don't want them to come loose. So make sure you get a good solder joint. Alright, now alright, tip is nice and clean on there, so let's see how this is going to work. Ready, set, go. Now if I'm doing this right, when I do this next joint, I should be able to bend this and have a nice smooth curve. But I won't know that until I get it out on the layout. Alright, so if my solder joint's good, I should be able to bend this right here. So let's see. Look at that. Now of course, I'm trying to bend the whole entire piece of track. Got a nice smooth joint here. I will take my file and I will go over the top just a little bit. You know what? This rail moved back. I'm going to have to redo this side right here. See, that wasn't a good solder joint there. It came loose. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and finish this off camera and I'll bring it back when I bring this out to the layout and I'll show you where it's going to go. So, stay tuned and we will be back shortly. Alright guys, what you're looking at now is the joint that we just did out in my work area. Now we're going to go ahead and commence to follow this outside line and make us our first loop. So let's get this out here. I can work on it. And so I'm just going to start from the joint and just start gently bending it out until I get it to fit in the space that I want to do. I know this new weathered track from Microengineering is really, really stiff when you try and bend it. As you can see, I'm starting to get a circle here. Now we'll continue on the other side. Get him to come around. Sorry, a lot of this might be off camera, guys. I I should put the camera further away. That might be a better idea. Yeah, I'm gonna put the camera in a different place so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Be right back. Alright, now let's see if we can get some work done here. There's really no good platform to put the camera on, so I just have to make do with what I have. And as you can see, we are slowly getting the curve that I want. And it's not going to happen 1, 2, 3. Guys, gotta be patient when you do stuff like this. Alright. Now that I can get it pretty much on the wood, we're going to go ahead and start putting it around on my line. Okay, let's do a little bit on this side. Alright, so now, if I keep it the way it is right now, I am straight on my straight part back here, and I'm on the line up to this point right here. So now, I just need to keep bending this until I get it around to where I want it. Yeah, like I said, this new batch of microengineering weathered track is really stiff and it's hard to go around these curves. But this is the beginning of track laying, guys. So hope you guys and gals enjoy this, and we'll continue on with some other work in the meanwhile. We're getting close. I need to make sure that this side stays straight and on my line, because this is going to be my references coming off it straight, and then staying on my line around. I may have to come on the other side of the layout to see the line, because I can't really see it from here. Now this is going to go directly into an S-curve here, so I have to figure out how I'm going to solder this end of the track. But anyhow, as you can see, there is the beginning of track laying for my new expansion. So let's see what else we can get into, and we'll be back in a little bit. Talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Alright guys, we're going to do the last part of this video and show you what this is going to look like with some track laid out. So way over there is coming in from room number 1, and we'll take the outside track for now. And we'll follow him up. Oops, let's go the other way. There we go. Now that is a 2% grade. And when it comes around here, it's going to drop down to a 1% grade. I want the different elevations between the tracks. And we'll be coming in now on the inside part of this loop right here. Right back there. And coming around here. And let's see if I can get the zoom focus here. And now we're on inside there. And so we're coming back on the inside, the middle track there, I should say. And we're going to come around here, middle track. Oops, sorry, my arm being in the way. And right here, I am thinking of putting a crossover. I'm not 100% sure yet. I got to figure out how it's going to work. It's going to work. If I do decide it, this is going to be a reverse loop inside of a reverse loop. Because this entire section up here is going to be a reverse loop. Alright, so let's continue on. So we're on this track here, right? And it's going to go around, it's going to do the squiggly, and it's going to come back here. Now I'm not too happy with the way this is working out back here. I still need to figure out what's going on and how I can fix it. But anyhow, we'll be coming down this track right here. And now we're on the outside of the one that we just came in from. And now on this loop, we're going to be on the outside part. Go around there. And then we will head back into room number 1. Anyhow, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video. And as always, your questions, comments, inputs, subs, shares, and likes are always welcome. For now, that's all, folks. BNSF 6951 out. And by the way, I can't wait to run my new locomotives on this. Woohoo!